Alright, Schlockmeisters fans, 10 down, 3 to go. Schoolgirl Report 11, otherwise known as Confessions of a Naked Virgin. Let's watch. Our movie starts with a radio show, and they're talking about the schoolgirl situation. One of the panelists talks about, I think he is a former teacher or something, talks about a girl named Martina. She gets caught cheating off this other guy's paper. He was aware of it, but she sticks up for him and said, I did it. He had nothing to do with it. He didn't know. She decides to give him a little reward, as she calls it, or as it's called.
Meinst du nicht, ich hätte eine kleine Belohnung verdient? Ach so, eine kleine Belohnung kannst du schon haben.
As you saw, it started out with a kiss. It's going to go much further than that, but I can't show you anything more than that. And kind of intersperse the lovemaking with a little letter she was writing. Did that say I love Dick? Well, after a while, the guy Rolf gets tired of her, and they kind of split. Much to her chagrin. She liked their tutoring sessions. She comes by to visit anyway, and she sees he's with somebody else. Beneath that nice poster of Jimi Hendrix, the girl, Martine, took a bunch of pills and killed herself. Our next story involves this girl named Regine, who claims that her tutor or teacher raped her. We then see her story, or her version of the story, played out. She keeps going back because apparently her father insists upon it, and of course, it repeats itself over and over again every time. The accused insists it's just the opposite. She attacks him, and he has to fend her off. Then we see his version of events. She wears revealing clothing. She flashes him, which I can't show you. And her case is tossed out. Our next story involves this girl named Gila, who I think is on the panel, and she tells a story about when she was younger and wanted to lose her virginity. So her and her friend are both virgins, and they're intending to lose their virginity to these two guys, who are also virgins. However, they think the girls are experienced, and the girls think the boys are experienced. Anyway, the two decide to pair off, and she lets him smell her butt as they climb up into the loft. Anyway, both couples consummate. One couple falls on top of the other couple, and then paint falls on everybody, and they're all de-virginized and painted. Our next story involves this troubled girl in school named Michaela. Anyway, she sends her teacher a letter that says, by the time you find this, I'll be dead. She intends to commit suicide by jumping off a bridge into a moving train. Saved her. We get her backstory then. She found a $100 bill on the ground that belonged to these guys. She thought it was just random, but they placed it there in order to lure somebody in to take it so then they could hassle her. They forced her to sign a confession letter saying, I took the money, but they say, I won't press charges against you if you agree to pay me like $400 for the next month or something like that. But the cads want more than that. They want her body too. And they're gonna get it. They even take pictures, too, and show it to her and say, we're going to give these to some porno magazines. Basically, they're saying they're blackmailing her, and she's going to be their sex slave and do whatever they want for her. Who knows how long. The next thing they do, they take her to some place, and they're basically pimp her out. They all got to pay 50 bills to sleep with her. But when it's Abraham's turn, he decides to be a good man and rescue her. And they take off out the window. The last story involves a girl named Heidi. She's turning 18 apparently, and all her friends are over celebrating her birthday. And all of her friends have had sex before, and they want Heidi to lose her virginity. And then we see story within a story where each of the girls there talk about how they lost their virginity.
Ich mag sowas nicht. So, das ist aber eine komische Schwellung.
Here's one of the other girls' stories. They're all pretty similar if you get my drift. And one of the girls says, yeah, I know how we can get her to lose her virginity. We'll set her up with my cousin Akim. He's a Casanova. And they lock them in there. So the door is locked, and they find a note. You can only come out when Heidi's no longer a virgin. So they make noises and pretend to have sex with each other.
Nein, bitte, bitte nein. Nein.
Oh, schau mal, was das für ein Ding ist.
Oh Gott, ist der groß.
So he ends up taking her home, and then he says, I love you. And guess what they're going to do? I can't fully show you what they're going to do, but you get the idea. And that's pretty much our movie. Okay, let's talk about Schoolgirl Report 11, also known as Blue Dreams. Also has the subtitle, Trying Beats Studying. I guess it does, right? Anyway, the Germans are at it again with the Schoolgirl Report series. They made 13 of these. Man, I'm getting close to getting done with them, too. It's taking quite a while. Number 11. So, anyway, just like always, it's kind of like a pseudo-documentary. This one starts out under the guise, there's 4 or 5 people on some sort of panel or like some radio show or something, and they're discussing the sexual mores of children today. Are the laws strict enough or whatever? I don't know. It's just bullshit nonsense so we can see these girls naked. The first story involves, shit, I even forgot. Oh yeah, there was a woman, well, I said a schoolgirl, I guess you could say. Clearly these are all women, obviously. And she's relaying the story to the police about how her tutor, like her math teacher, almost like raped her, forced herself on her, that sort of thing. And we see that scene played out. And then the guy is interviewed, and he says, no, that's not like it was at all. It was, in fact, just the opposite. She dressed in these provocative see-through clothing. She was flashing me, and she basically jumped on me, and I turned her down. And ultimately, we find out that was actually the truth. So the case was dismissed, or they weren't going to pursue it any further. We see that played out, too. So anyway, the second story featured an actor named Klaus Obalski, who I have reviewed. He was in Summer Night Fever. He was also in 2 more of these that I previously reviewed, as well as he was Klaus in She's 19 and Ready, one of my favorite sex comedies from this era, from this genre. Anyway, he and his buddy are going to lose their virginity to these 2 women. They're going to do it in a barn. Each of the pair thinks that the other 2 are super experienced. Of course, they're all virgins, apparently. And they all have sex in the barn, and Klaus is on top in this bed in the loft, and I guess they screwed so hard that the bed fell through, and then this other thing tipped over, and they were all full of paint. I couldn't really show you any of the scenes, but there was 4 naked people covered with paint. I saw a couple of painted penises there. One of the women even says, there's paint on my pussy. Anyway, what the hell was the third story about? Oh yeah, the suicide note. The girl who got blackmailed by these bikers or something ended up turning into her sex slave or something like that. She was going to jump off a bridge in front of a train, but her teacher, I guess it was a teacher, saved her at the last second. And then it turns out they got the 3 guys arrested, and she finished her studies and was very successful. Wanted to be a social worker or something. The last story was 18th birthday. Oh yeah, the one girl, 18th birthday, yeah, my ass. Her friends wanted to lose her virginity. Within that story, these girls tell the story about how they lost their virginity, and we see those played out. So it's a story within a story. Ultimately, they say, my cousin Akim can de-virginize her. So they lock Akim in a room with her, and they say, you can't come out until she's not a virgin anymore. Heidi, I think, was her name. Turns out Akim apparently has never had sex either. They're both virgins. They pretend to have sex, so their friends go away. And then he walks her home, and then they have sex for real because he's fallen in love with her within the hour of meeting her, he fell in love. There you go. Schoolgirl Report 11. As Schoolgirl Report movies go, this one actually is not bad. I was able to follow the whole plot very easily. Subtitles is in German, obviously. I have a PAL VHS tape of this, by the way, under the title Confessions of a Naked Virgin, which is actually in English, but I watched the German one here too. So, but anyway, as Schoolgirl Report movies go, this was actually not bad. In fact, 10 and 11 were probably pretty damn good, considering. So, it's a decent film, actually, and I struggle to even say that, but it's actually kind of true. It wasn't bad. So there you go. It delivers the goods. So there's a lot of nudity in this movie and a lot of close-ups. It's getting dirtier, I think, but clearly it's not porn. It's barely even soft, but it's lovely. These German women are pretty lovely to look at. So check it out. Schoolgirl Report 11. I'll leave a link down below if you're looking for it. I have all 13 of these. Pricey. They're getting to be... These can be between $25 and $40 even. I've seen them as high as. They're not a ton of them out there anymore. So if you want to track them down, do so. Check it out. Buy it. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think about Schoolgirl Report 11. Watch it. Bye.